Folks out there, welcome. It's Friday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What time is that? It's time for the Right Side on Campus Weekend Edition. We're going to go over every single Major League Baseball game today, break it all down off the air yesterday. So we have a couple things that we can talk over of what's been going on in the week in Major League Baseball, but I'm here with my cohort here, Jeff Nadeau, also known as the Big Man on Campus on Twitter. Follow him at Jeff Nadeau. What's going on, Big Man?
Donnie, how you doing today? Good Friday to you.
Yeah, nice weather out there. Holiday weekend coming up. What's not to like, right?
Right. I mean, you got July 4th coming up, Tuesday, I think it is. It's beautiful down here at the beach, Donnie. Nice and sunny. A picturesque day. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, most people, I would assume, that work regular jobs, unlike me and you in this sports industry, probably have the day off Monday as a holiday. If you do, congratulations. That's a nice, 3-day weekend, add on another day off, 4th of July on Tuesday. Sounds like a nice weekend to get it going. And again, a lot of Major League Baseball action. I haven't looked at the card yet, Jeff, but I assume maybe Monday, Tuesday, we're going to get a lot of afternoon action, which is always nice out there with those barbecues.
Yes, you have to obviously plan your barbecue around your sports bets. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't worry about your sports bets. It's a holiday, Donnie. Get out there, have a little barbecue, eat a burger or two, and enjoy the day.
Or as Ron Popeil would say, if you watch infomercials, just bet it and forget it. Lay the wager down, go out and enjoy the day, come back and check your bank account later. It's a way to do it.
My parents, Donnie, have arrived. They're here. So if you see my dad walking around behind me, I think he's heading to the beach or something. So
Pop's probably going to try to get out of there quick. Probably try to hit him up for a little bit of cash over there.
By the way, Donnie, I'm sure many of the shitheads will, your mom and dad are there. You live with your parents. Yeah, unfortunately, I guess I do. Down at the shore, if they're here, I do live with them. So fuck you.
Absolutely. So, Big Man, let's talk about what happened or transpired, I would say, during the week. Anybody following me or subscribing to me started out the week on a rough patch, going 0-3, picking up a win yesterday. But how we arrived there was kind of interesting. I tweeted out a couple of my thoughts about, out of nowhere, average pitchers going postal, so to speak, and having career-type games. When we're in the betting industry, Jeff, you try to look to the normal. You're going to have some regression. You're going to have some good pitching matchups. One thing that you don't want to have is damn near historic things go against you, like the Zach Davies of the world going 8 innings and shutout baseball. Who else did I have? Cobb, 8 innings on the road, shutout baseball. Trevor Williams at home, 7 innings, 2 earned run. Tyson Ross, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Clevenger, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Yesterday, I put out a miracle win. Thank you to Justin Upton for dropping a fly ball. But outside of that, Michael Fulmer having a career day. Interesting stuff. Jeff, I know you had a couple that you looked at this week. Just were mind-boggling as well.
Yeah, I've had the unfortunate part, Donnie, not so much about pitchers pitching gems that maybe shouldn't, but I'm getting we're going to be a T-ball hitting team every time I bet them. So last night I have the Rays, who, for whatever reason, every time I back the Rays, they don't hit. And, last night they had opportunities. Donnie, you knew it was bad in the first inning when runners on first and third, no outs, double play, third to second, and then a strikeout. I had to figure it wasn't going to be good. So I moved on, and it is what it is.
Yeah, no, as a gambler and being very superstitious, as most of us are, we all know the drill. I mean, sometimes you're not watching the game, you just tune in. Hey, look at that, second and third, first inning. You're on a total over. Maybe you get a single in the gap, 2 runs, or at least, worst case scenario, hit me a ground ball or a fly ball, get me 1 run in. When that runner does not clear early on, it's always that ominous cloud floating over, but you would hope they make it up later in the game. But an interesting one again yesterday. Chris Archer on the road gets absolutely no support there in Pittsburgh. Tyone has been decent off of the bye, but you would have thought Tampa Bay. I mean, when they put out their 1-8, it's a nice-looking lineup. You figured they would get some runs.
By the way, Donnie, I've also noticed, and it's pretty interesting, does it seem like it's always, every time you take a 1-0 lead in the top of the first, bottom of the first, they tie it right up? Or it's always seemingly the same thing. I mean, I got to tell you also, and we're going to get into it here today with this Washington Nationals team, I mean, it's hard to find a bullpen worse. I mean, really. I mean, this group is just siphoning games off. I mean, they're already way ahead of everyone else, which is still amazing just because to show you how bad the NL East is. But, I mean, you imagine if they have a bullpen, where they'd be. But, yes, by the way, Marco Liu, good point here. All successful sports bettors, I think he says, live with their family or their parents. Yeah, I don't, as many know, I live on my own at home, clearly. I was here most of the week alone. But it is the weekend, Donnie. I don't need to explain myself, do I?
Yeah, hey, hang out with family. It's a holiday weekend. You should be with your family anyway. I mean, it's
so my sister's not here yet, so you shouldn't hear anyone in the background. That should be. She seemingly does whatever she wants, but she's not here.
Jeff, your sister's not there, but how long before somebody on the chat box says, "Can we get picks, bro?"
Only a matter of time. It's happened before.
No kid. Yeah, so let's get on to the baseball card today. Again, thanks for tuning in on the chat box here. Jeff, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Betonline as a good friend and a sponsor of the show. Also heading down to Costa Rica next month. I know a lot of interesting things are happening out there with, getting into the baseball. Obviously in June, we had the SBR contest there for Major League Baseball. Going to have another one in July with some free tickets to give away for the betting conference down in Costa Rica. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to push it on every show because, again, it's not about getting you down there because we're trying to sell you something on a buy pots and pans and sit in on this 3-hour convention and pay some money out. It's a lot just to meet the listeners here who support us and have a good time and hang out behind the scenes, drink some cocktails, smoke some cigars, bet some games, just get a general feel for the environment of overall gambling and picking everybody's brain. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, I'm going to say it. I hope a lot of our friends here on the chat box show up there because it's only going to be a lot of fun. It's not going to cost that much, hopefully.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. If I could just say one thing about the Betonline, our sponsor, I'm a big fan. I really like that book. I personally have used it, and I want to shout them out. They were first to get Big Three lines out. They've done a great job. They're one of the good sports books around. I'm happy they're sponsoring us and some other shows here at SBR. Very good book. Enjoy them. And I use it quite frequently. So, hey, Donnie, what better than to try it? Like if Fiji Water came to me and said, hey, we want to sponsor you, I would say, that's just fine. I love Fiji Water. It's my favorite. It's the only water I really drink. So, and yeah, for the 8,000th time, I don't drink at all. So, again, no, I'm not drinking vodka. No, I'm not drinking rum. Straight up water, cuz.
There you go. Hey, try to hydrate for the weekend. You got to get on that jet ski, get that good work in down there, big man.
Yeah, I am, and that's something I wanted to point out. It is, and I know, Donnie, you're a little bit away from the shore. We're obviously right on the water here, and it's been pretty cool here. I mean, last night it was in the high 50s at night. It was pretty cold. I mean, you had to wear sweatshirts, and so again, it's windy here. So we'll get out there for sure. We got to check the tide charts, see when low tide is, but I'm thinking about it.
You got it. Let's get right into the baseball card here, Jeff. We'll keep it right down the list. No afternoon action today as it is a Friday. And what we can do is go down each and every one of these. We're going to try to pick the Cy Young award-winning prospect tonight. Maybe Anibal Sanchez goes 9 innings and a no-hitter. We can look even farther down the list. Maybe Roark, who's been awful, Jeff, throws a perfect game tonight. Wouldn't surprise me, Major League Baseball, huh?
No, it wouldn't. And, again, I don't think he'll do it. That's just what he's just not that kind of guy. You look at wait, we're not on Roark, are we?
No. We're gonna. I didn't even start the base. I was just going down making a couple.
No. It wouldn't surprise me if Roark and Scott Feldman throw no hitters tonight.
Starting off the card tonight, Jeff, 7:05 p.m., 965, 966 on the rotation. It's going to be Tampa Bay and Baltimore. Faria and Tillman, 54% are backing the road team here, Tampa Bay, coming off of their series with Pittsburgh. Over-under, Jeff, opened up at 10.5, has been bet to 11. One key ingredient here, Jeff. It's going to be hot there in Baltimore. Yeah, what's up, man?
What schedule are you following here? Because I have Giants-Pirates.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, switched it up on me. Let me just get it back in the rotation.
And again, for anyone that's interested, we go down the NL games first, AL games to follow. So it's by rotation number.
Yeah, let's go. 951, 952. Cueto and Cole on the mound. 2,000 tickets have been tracked here, Jeff. Over-under is 8 so far. Been bet up to 8.5 live here at Pinnacle. Chris and 5 dimes if we take a look. Garrett Cole opens up as a small favorite at Pinnacle, -115. It's since been bet up to -134 at Chris, -128 at 5 dimes, -127 at Sportsbook. If we look into some of the particulars on this, two teams, technically when you think, Jeff, not high effective octane offenses. Cueto's 9 starts on the road. He's been at 4.58 ERA. Cole's 7 home starts, been a little bit better. 3.50 ERA, but his last 3, he's really been good. 1.35 ERA. San Francisco 30-51 overall. Tough to say. That team is usually never in a cellar-dwelling environment here. Pittsburgh 13-12 in the month of June. As I said before, Jeff, not a lot to love about these offenses. One would think both of these pitchers should be able to keep them down here.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco's lost 18 of 26. It's seemingly every time we discuss San Francisco, they've lost for a long period of time. They're 13-30 on the road this year. And most of it's been not only, Donnie, like you mentioned, their inability to score, but their pitching hasn't been very good. Opponents hitting 276 against San Francisco this year. And Johnny Cueto, Donnie, is still very average. That's what he is. He's not turned a corner. He's not improved. He's not giving you really anything to be excited about if you're a fan of the Giants. He's just been very average this year. Cole, you mentioned, been very good lately, 20 innings, 3 earned runs over his last 3 starts, a 1.35 ERA. He's a guy that you would expect to turn up and have these 3, 4, 5-game stretches where he pitches very good. He's a good pitcher, a good arsenal of pitches. Yeah, I would lean Pirates here. I like them at home normally. I did go against them last night. They got me. I'm just not a fan of Johnny Cueto. He's just not what he once was. And it might be just a season. I don't know. But I'm not interested in betting the Giants on the road with the way they played. If I had to play this, I would go with the Pirates. Donnie, it's interesting. When I did this homework for these games, this line was 123. I mean, it's now up to 135. So the public's agreeing with the Pirates here. And look, the Giants are a bet against for most.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's kind of an interesting game. Pittsburgh had obviously played Tampa Bay last night. San Francisco was already in town waiting while that game was being played. So they're going to come in a little bit more rested as you normally would, flying West Coast to East Coast. We'll see if that comes off there. But I don't have overall much on this game.
The one problem here, Donnie, is, while Cole is very good mostly, do you really want to back this Pirates bullpen? I mean, Tony Watson, that group, just a mess. They have no idea who their closer is. This is, for me, mostly a pass. No, we're not going to be anywhere near my card.
Yeah, I don't see a difference between Cueto and Cole at this point enough for me to bet it, especially with San Francisco being on the road and San Francisco as a total. One of those games, Pittsburgh might be able to sneak it out. It's a nice short line, so I mean you can't lose either way you go. If you take a loss, it's not like you laid 180 on the line to get it. So we'll see what happens in that game. But again, that's probably going to be a pass for me. Also, next game here, Jeff, break up the Philadelphia Phillies. Rotation 953, 954. It's going to be Lively and DeGrom on the mound. Total opened up at 8, Jeff. Currently bet up to 8.5. A healthy favorite here of minus 228 from Pinnacle on New York. Has since bet to be minus 260 at Chris, minus 250 at 5 dimes. It looks like pretty much minus 250, 260 in that area across the board. Even though Ben Lively has been a game pitcher, do you trust the Phillies? And I know a lot of people are saying, no way the Phillies can win 3-0. No way they could have won 2 in a row. We'll see what happens tonight coming from a West Coast back to the East Coast trip. And also, Jeff, a sign from God. Maybe it was me lighting the candle last night. Prospect Nick Williams has been called up to the major leagues. I have no idea what's going on in the Phillies front office. Hell is about to freeze over. Can we see the beginning of a couple guys being brought up to function along and bring along the future? Lively's 5 starts, Jeff. 3.90 ERA. Not too bad there. If we take a look at DeGrom, 7 home starts, Jeff, a 2.76 ERA. How hot has he been lately? Last 3 starts, Jeff, 0.72 ERA. He's dialed in. Philadelphia Phillies, as I stated before, Jeff, 2 straight winners. Looking for number 3, all on the road would be incredible. New York Mets, not so much a good home team, Jeff. 17-23 overall. We'll see if Michael Conforto can pop back into that starting lineup tonight. Jeff, what's going to give on this game? Dominant pitcher versus new rookie here on the mound.
Yeah, and this is the 3rd straight game, Donnie. The Phillies are over way over 2-1 underdog here. Yeah, I mean, look, do you want to back the Phillies? No, but I'd be honest, I don't want to back the Mets at home. I mean, they've been very average at home. They're only hitting a 234 at Citi Field this year, while DeGrom has been very good. I'm not looking to bet on the Phillies. I'm not looking to bet on the Mets. I'm sure they'll win here, but if you're laying 260 with the Mets, you really should have your head examined under any circumstance. I don't really want to ever do that. I would never do that in general, but the Phillies are 12-31 on the road. Nick Williams being added into the lineup is not going to be much of a change, to be honest. He's been pretty good in AAA. Has been lighting the world on fire, though. But, again, I think, like we've talked about, I think ownership and the GM are kind of starting to hear a little bit and say, look, I mean, you're not winning anything. It's time to bring other people up and see how they can play. Yeah, I'm not backing either team here just because the line's too high. I will say this. If I had to play this, I would honestly take the Phillies if I had to do it. Laying 260 with the Mets is ridiculous. You shouldn't lay 260 with anyone ever, but with the Mets, that bullpen and their issues at times, I wouldn't do it. Phillies are almost a little hot right now, and I don't hate Lively. For me, it's a pass, but I would, gun to my head, I would probably take a little shot at the Phillies here, but I have nothing on it really.
No, yeah, I agree, Jeff. I mean, you know me all too well. When lines are getting that high, I'm not a huge run line guy, and obviously I'm not looking forward to backing the Phillies. I mean, again, we talk about and joke, hell freezes over. Can the Phillies win 3 in a row and 3 in a row all on the road? We'll see tonight. Again, against an ace. Would feel much better if it was, maybe one of the Seth Lugos out there, or even a Match, man, one of the lower graded pitchers, or maybe even just Salmon on the mound. Phillies would have a much better shot, but that's going to be a tough road to climb here. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, again, I know DeGrom is very good, but unless he throws a complete game here, I don't feel very good about this game. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. They're not a very good offensive team at home. I mean, they're just not. Sorry.
D from Detroit says big man thinks everybody should have their head examined.
Well, yeah, people that lay 260 like the Mets should. I mean, they should. I say
anybody laying 260. I don't care who the hell's out there pitching. You should have your head examined.
And there's plenty of people that should have their head examined. There are people that should. And there's a lot of people in this business that should.
Next up here on the docket, Jeff, let's keep it moving. The Chicago Cubs yesterday pulling out a miracle win. I don't even want to call it a miracle because I guess if you're down less than 3 runs going against the Washington bullpen, you probably would be the favorite at that point in live betting. That's the Chicago Cubs today and Cincinnati Reds, Montgomery and Feldman. -120. Chicago opens up as a small road favorite. It's been bet down a little bit. Pinnacle showing -110. Chris -111. Bet Online showing -110. Over under, Jeff, opened up at a total of 9. Currently 9 across the board as well. 74% of the tickets, however, backing the road team here and the Chicago Cubs. We know about the injury to Chris Bryant. We'll see how long it takes him to get back. He's probably due for a DL stint. But Montgomery, Jeff, I mean, one of these unheralded pitchers here, hasn't been around too long. 4 starts this year, a 1.71 ERA, checking in very well. Feldman's been pedestrian, 16 starts, a 4 ERA. It's about what you expect from a pitcher of his caliber. Chicago Cubs heading into town, as I said, versus the Cincinnati Reds. The one thing also working against the Reds here, Jeff, their inability to win games versus left-handed pitching, 3-14 overall.
Yeah, they've been really poor against lefties. And, it's not so much that they can't hit them. They're just not winning games at left-hander start. I mean, they haven't been horrible at the plate against left-handed pitching, but the Reds have really struggled. I mean, they've lost 16 of 25. I don't think anyone's surprised by this decline. I don't think anyone thought the Reds would be a long-term proposition. And look, I mean, Homer Bailey's starting games, and Bronson Arroyo, I mean, just guys that have no business. I mean, Donnie, you can make the case that no one in this pitching rotation really should be up at the major league level. I guess they have to be, but a lot of these guys are brutal. I mean, Scott Feldman, Wojciechowski, Amir Garrett, I mean, they've all really had problems. Look, I'm not a big Cubs guy. We all know that. They're only hitting .228 against right-handed pitching this year, but you look at what the Cubs have done recently. Opponents are hitting, or the Reds are hitting .328 against this group over the last week or so. And Montgomery's been very good. He's on a 12-inning scoreless streak. He's a guy that, normally is a long reliever. That's kind of what he's always been at Seattle and mostly with the Cubs. But I think he's been a pretty damn good option for this team. 17 innings. He's only given up 2 earned runs. At this price, I think the Cubs are a good bet. At 110, I don't have a problem betting them. I like what I've seen from Montgomery, and Scott Feldman's a guy I'm not into. At this price, I'd be interested in the Cubs.
Yeah, it's interesting because with Chicago now down Chris Bryant, you also look at that lineup and you want to know where the runs are actually going to come from at this point. Obviously, Schwarber's down in the minor leagues, leaning on Rizzo. You could pitch around him. And the rest of that lineup, to me, is just very unattractive towards putting up numbers. But again, they stack a 9 over-under in this one.
But, Donnie, I guess I'll come back with that and say, well, they haven't been very good to begin with. So, I mean, could they be any worse, really?
I mean, you can be worse if you take your MVP out of the lineup, sure.
Well, that hurts. Sure. Chris Bryant, sure. Of course he's out. That hurts. But, I mean, the rest of this lineup hasn't been very good. So, I'll mix and match. I think they'll be fine. Again, they should be able to hit Scott Feldman tonight. I'm not in love with betting the Cubs just because against righties they haven't been very good. But
you're right.
Chris Bryant not being in there hurts for sure. But, look, at this price, I think it's a worthy bet. With the way the Reds have been playing, I'm not interested in them.
For sure. Next up on the docket, Jeff, Miami and Milwaukee. Volquez versus Garza. Total opened up at Pinnacle at 9.5, and also a small favorite towards Milwaukee. Slight, very slight, -106. Been bet up to Betonline at -114. Total now sits at 9.5. There are some 10s creeping up at Sportsbook. Greek's got it. Chris also showing a 10 also. I can't blame him because when you look at the overall teams, the way they possibly can hit in a hitter's ballpark and also with the 2 pitchers on the mound, certainly can't complain about that. Volquez, since his no-hitter there followed up by a shutout. He's been lit up. I mean, his last 3 starts after those 2 fantastic ones sit at a 7.9 ERA. Garza, last 3 starts himself, Jeff, 6.06. Miami's road bullpen, 5.45 ERA. Bullpen from Milwaukee at home, Jeff, 4.63 ERA. 2 lineups, if they're full go, they're going to be able to bash the baseballs up there. So a double-digit line on the total kind of sounds about right here, Jeff.
Yeah, shout out to the first place Milwaukee Brewers. How about that? 1 game up on the Cubs in the NL Central. If anyone thought that would happen, raise your hand. I surely didn't. But again, a very average NL Central. You know, look, I like the Brewers in this spot. I honestly do. But I don't like Matt Garza, who, you know, had a small window early in the year where he pitched decent. Last year he was okay, but he has poor career numbers against the Marlins. The problem is right now, Donnie, the Marlins are not hitting. They've been a very inconsistent lineup, and I know some of our listeners mentioned Justin Bour in and out of that lineup has kind of hurt a little bit. But Volquez, after that complete game, I mean, which I think we all agree was a little bit of a facade. He just had it that day, a lot like Mike Fiers did when he hit the Dodgers several years ago. He's been rough lately. He's walked 14 batters over his last 3 starts, an ERA just below 8. Gun to my head, I'd take the Brewers just because I think they're playing better right now, but it's hard to get involved with Matt Garza. So for me, it's a pass.
Yeah, it is, man. Just watching the Brewers, I mean, I've been a huge fan over the past month or so. I mean, that team can rake at the plate. And again, 1 through 8, they're strong, and even have some bench players now. Now that VR is back, you give Sogard a break, who's hitting 350 at the plate. Seems like every single one of those players can go deep at any time, which is always nice for a total better because those solo home runs stack up on each other. It's nice to have a lineup. Now that Braun's back, he's crushing it as well. So certainly moving forward, they do have a perfect storm, which is what we like to look for, Jeff. Some sloppy starting pitching at times, not a really good bullpen, and team that can rake at the plate in a hitter's ballpark. So something to certainly keep an eye on moving forward here.
Yeah, one thing also, I think it's imperative that the New York Yankees try to go out and get Justin Bour. I mean, I think he'd be a fantastic addition to this team. I mean, we could do away with the Chris Carter disgrace. We finally have a guy with a little power. Well, not that we don't have guys with power, but I mean, you imagine him in that short porch. I mean, I think they got to go out and get some kind of addition at first base. I think Justin Bour would be a considerable option at this point. But, yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, just because, Donnie, I will point out, and someone made a point here, the Milwaukee Brewers strike out a lot. They're in the bottom 3 in baseball as far as strikeouts from the plate per game. So Volquez not exactly a strikeout guy much anymore. But, yeah, a slight lean to Milwaukee here.
Yep, keep it moving down here on the list. Welcome back, John Gray, to the lineup for Colorado. He's going to face the Arizona Diamondbacks on the road. We're going to have a Gray-Ray matchup today. Line opened up here at 141 and a total of 9. Looks like the 9 is sticking across the board. And off the 141, you have 138 out there, 142, 145, 139, depending on what sportsbook that you do operate and get those out of. Take a look at some particulars here on the game. Actually, did I skip a game here on this?
You're on St. Louis Nationals. That's where we're at.
Yeah, something's popping. I tried to switch these sportsbook around and knock it up. So we'll go Nationals in St. Louis here then.
We can run with whatever you want, Donnie. No biggie.
Yeah, let's go with that. We'll backtrack on the other one. 9 and 138 opens up here, Colorado, Arizona. Get to some particulars on the game. Great. As I said, welcome back off a long DL stint. One of their higher rated pitchers here coming back to the rotation, and not at a better at a better time. It couldn't be right now because they need some help in all facets of their game. Ray's been unreal through a 5-game run. Since then, Jeff, 12 innings, 6 earned runs versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Maybe that was his kryptonite a little bit. Colorado 14-12 in the month of June. Started out June much hotter than what they're ending up in June here. Arizona 30-12 at home and raking right-handed pitching. We'll see if that continues tonight. But Gray back in the lineup for Colorado. I don't know if it's going to matter there. Arizona seems to rake at home either way. It doesn't matter.
Right. By the way, Judge is a flash in the pan. You're an idiot. Right. How's Judge a flash in the pan, Donnie? You want to explain that?
Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't done it for a long time, but he hasn't shown anything where he's going backwards.
Right. Yeah, as far as this one, interesting pitching matchup with John Gray, who some people like, some people don't. He hasn't pitched since April 13th. So, obviously that's concerning. He comes off the DL after a stress fracture in his foot. Colorado's lost 8 in a row, so it's not exactly a good time for John Gray to come back and experiment with things. They need some wins. And I got to tell you, Donnie, this is a big series for Colorado. They're 7 games back of Arizona now for second place. And they face a guy in Robbie Ray who has been absolutely fantastic this year. You look at his numbers, 15 games, a 1.17 whip, his ERA just south of 3, 119 strikeouts in 94 innings. He struck out 24 over his last 3 games. Yeah, I'm not betting against Arizona at home. I mean, I don't like what I've seen from Colorado lately. They have some big boys in that lineup, but they haven't been hitting. And Ray, he seemed to have gotten it almost figured out at home. 201 opponents are hitting against him this year. I know I kind of hurt him a little bit. I didn't hurt him, but I messed with him a little bit. He wasn't very good at home. He hadn't pitched well. The one concern I have here is this the night where Colorado kind of gets out of it a little bit? They have the lineup to do it, but I really don't want to bet against Ray. I don't really want to bet against Arizona at home. At this price, little high. I would rather it be like, what do we have here? Price currently is at Betonline. It's at 145. So, I mean, I would rather it be in the 130, 135 range, but I think there's still a little value here on Arizona. But I'm not in love just because I do think that it will come back at some point. Colorado will at some point get it figured out.
No, it's certainly it's an interesting thing. I know, and again, I like to avoid pitchers coming back off the DL for the most part. Probably going to avoid this game as well. But you're getting a decent price on Arizona, who rakes at home against a Colorado team not very good playing right now. So we'll see how that breaks down. And then the over-under at 9. We've typically, how many times in the past month, Jeff, have we seen games in Arizona 10, 10.5, and 11? So looks like almost baiting you there and expecting that Robbie Ray and Gray put on a nice pitching performance out there.
Yeah, and Donnie, I think they're also kind of getting to the point where it's like you look at this year at Chase Field, this Arizona pitching staff overall has been very good. I mean, second in the major leagues in team ERA. Their bullpen has been considerably better. I think what they've done pitching staff-wise is nothing short of amazing. I mean, they were really bad last year as far as in the bullpen. Obviously Shelby Miller in and out of the lineup, he was poor. Zach Greinke couldn't figure it out. I've really liked what I've seen from this pitching rotation. Just goes to show you what you know about baseball. D. Patrick, look, I have nothing against you, but when you say things like Aaron Judge is a flash in the pan, I mean, I haven't seen that, and I don't know that we're going to see it. Don't say stupid stuff like that and not expect us to come back with it. How's he a flash in the pan? I want to see how and why he's a flash in the pan. Are you just being the one that says, well, I think he's going to be a flash in the pan, so I'm going to say it so when it happens I look like a smart guy? You might be right. Maybe he will be. But right now I think we need to bask in it. And I think you said you were a Yankee fan, if I can remember correctly. Maybe that was someone else. But I think you just need to enjoy the time we have with the kid. He's been very good. Give the kid a little bit of love, Donnie.
Yeah, maybe D. Patrick had Chris Carter in one of his fantasy leagues, and he got cut, and now Aaron Judge is the new man on the block. You never know.
Yeah, D. Patrick's also the guy that he never loses. It seems like every game he bets, he wins. And he's the guy who apparently does know everything about base. So we'll let him keep talking. All I'm saying is, if you're a Yankee fan, let the kid play. He's been very good. Let's enjoy this, Donnie.
I tell the one thing is I just don't want any of these guys to get hurt, Jeff, before the All-Star break, because I'm actually, for the first time in a while, looking forward to Home Run Derby. There are some behemoths out there that are about to swing the bats down in Miami. Hopefully they open the dome that night. Hopefully they open all the windows and just let that thing fly. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hate the decision to have that at Marlins Park, by the way.
It's great for the players, but everybody knows you wanted it a historic type of environment where Home Run Derby means something, where how far can you hit it? Oh my God, nobody's ever reached that area. I mean, what are you going to hit it into the Clevelander repeatedly back there? I mean, they're going to launch bombs and maybe somebody's going to hit one in the center field off the statue, but it was always a lot more fun in an environment where you can actually see how far that ball actually goes in an iconic environment.
Someone's asking also, I didn't catch your name. I'm looking at another page, but I'm basically, Donnie, we're at July 1st, and Diamondbacks are 2.5 games back. I think the Dodgers will get some kind of pull away a little bit. Diamondbacks will be tough, though. I mean, they're very good at home. Their pitching's been really good, like I've mentioned. The Dodgers will win this division, but the Diamondbacks will make the playoffs. I've been really high on the Diamondbacks. I remember talking about them back on our MLB preview that we did. I've been very high on this team. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope they kind of give us a race, because this NL West has been very good. These top 3 teams have been really fun to watch.
Yeah, no, I would agree on that. We'll keep it moving down the list here. Washington and St. Louis. We'll backtrack a little bit. 959, 960. Tanner Roark and Mike Leake on the mound. Opening line started at 9.5. Currently bet down to 9 even. Opening number for St. Louis, a small favorite at -118. If we check some lines, Pinnacle -119. Also bet online coming in at -120, -121, -123. So everywhere in that same type of environment for us, Jeff, betting wise. But if you take a look at Washington going on the road after yet another devastating loss, I saw a statistic up there yesterday, Jeff, a 6th loss on the early season when entering the 9th inning with a lead. It's amazing. This team is still head and shoulders above everybody in the NL East. Imagine if they had a decent bullpen and were able to close some games out. Roark's last 3 starts, Jeff, a laughable 12.51 ERA. Leak's last 5 of 6 starts have been really rough. On those starts, Jeff, 21 earned runs. Washington's road bullpen, even worse than its home bullpen, if you can imagine. 5.64 ERA. St. Louis home bullpen, 4.19 here. Something leads me to believe that Roark's going to have to go out there and throw an absolute gem to keep them in the game. But by all accounts, Jeff, he's usually that pitcher that goes 5 to 6 innings and is going to leave 3 full innings out there at least for his bullpen. A huge injury yesterday to Trey Turner for the Washington Nationals. Also, as we already know, they lost their center fielder for the season. So injuries starting to bite up. Jason Worth has been out. Lineup still is very deep, but taking that key guy out of that leadoff role who seems to steal on everybody, that's going to hurt him because he's out for an undetermined amount of time with a broken wrist or whatever it was, broken, so a bone in his hand. You're probably looking at least, Jeff, a month.
Yeah, he's going to be out for a while from what I've seen. And you lose 35 stolen bases. You leave a kid on the base pass who's just a terror. A nice little average, 280. One of those typical leadoff hitters that, early on has been a nice player for this team. But, now what do? You got to go to Stephen Drew, who, look, if you've known me for a while, I hate Stephen Drew. I hated him when he was at the Yankees. I don't think he's very good, and they're going to struggle, obviously, with Turner out of the lineup. But I think the bigger thing needs to be made of the absolute joke that this bullpen is. And the problem I have with the Nationals are they will not address this whatsoever. They continue to try to fill holes with guys like Francisco Rodriguez and people like that. For me, this is similar to when you build a house and you put shitty wood, you put shitty construction materials, you put all that sort of thing in a house, and 2 years later it's falling in and it's leaking. Yeah, well, right.
Yeah, just like in the Sopranos episode, you build your spec house, use the wrong type of timber there. I'm not going to let you get away with it.
That's exactly what it is. You can't keep thinking that putting shitty wood, shitty shingles, all this bad stuff in houses, and then it caves in and you're thinking, well, we're surprised here. If you put bad pitchers into the game, there's going to be a reason they continue to blow games. Donnie, you look at the Nationals, 12 blown saves this year. They've given up 1.5 home runs per 9 from their bullpen, not from their starters, from their bullpen. I just don't see an end in sight for this group as far as, they're in first place, but you need pitching late. And I don't think one arm is going to do it. If you go out and get one guy, that's not going to fix your problem. You have bigger issues than one guy, and they just seemingly can't.
No, they need to set up man and closer.
Yeah, right. No, you're totally right. And look, they're obviously going to be a team that's they're going to run away with this division. And you look how many games they've blown. Think if they just converted half. They'd be they're running away with the NL East. The NL East isn't going to be a problem. It's when we get to the playoffs, are we going to be able to win games with the relievers we have? And that has been a complete no. There's been no one in this pen, whether it's Blake Trinan, whether it's a Coda Glover, whether it's Matt Albers. No one has the ability to close games out for this team. And we saw it yesterday. It was perfect. That was Nationals baseball. Yesterday, up 4-2 or 4-3, whatever it was, top of the ninth. You should be able to have a close that comes right in, gets the job done. 5-4, you lose. I thought when Dusty Baker got ejected, I thought that was good for the Nationals. I was thinking, okay, good. He's not in the bullpen. He's not going to blow a game here. But, yeah, it's a mess. And the fact that they added K-Rod, am I supposed to get excited about that?
Yeah, to a minor. They have so much confidence in him that they signed him to a minor league deal to see if he can work out what he's doing. That's not going to help too much.
Right. And, again, it's, putting, listen, if you're old, you're not going to get any younger. You're not going to automatically start pitching well because you go somewhere else. You suck. It is what it is.
Yeah. Next here up to the dock, we're going to go LA Dodgers versus the San Diego Padres, 963, 964. 2,700 tickets have been tracked. A minus 200 favorite. The Dodgers open up. Currently sitting across the board, even if we look at BetOnline, a little bit less than that, minus 198. Over under at 7.5. Currently sitting across the board. Just absolutely Kershaw value on the LA Dodgers here. It looks like the tax to the max in this standpoint. The one thing I look at is kind of interesting if you're looking for outside motives here is maybe you have the Battle of LA, which the Dodgers just got out of. Now go down to that sleepy environment in San Diego. That the one thing about going down to San Diego, Jeff, as a Dodger, you're actually going to have more fans cheering for the Dodgers than you do have the San Diego Padres. Wood through 11 starts, an unbelievable number, just an unheralded guy. I know, Jeff, you pump him up on the roundtables that we go off of, but a 2.02 ERA on the road, Jeff, even better, a 1.91 ERA. Richards through 16 starts, just your pedestrian pitcher, 4.42 ERA. Dodgers 53-28 overall. San Diego 8-14 versus left-handed pitching. Nice series they just finished up on the Atlanta Braves, taking the win in the series there, but whole nother animal coming to town here with the Dodgers and that pitching staff and that home run hitting ability on offense.
Yeah, Donnie, I mean, we've talked about Wood, time and time again. Obviously, Max Scherzer is the best pitcher in baseball, but Alex Wood has put together some season this year. And, I think a change of scenery was needed for this guy. He was down in Atlanta kind of being wasted there. He goes to a winning program, and now look at him. But you look at opponents this year, only hitting .225 against the LA Dodgers. Donnie, stat of the day here. We know I like to always bring this stat up. In 53 wins this year for the Dodgers, 45 have come by 2 or more runs. That's 85% of the time. It can't get much better than that, Donnie. So you're going to tell me I'm supposed to get excited because Clayton Richards on the mound? Big fucking deal. He sucks. He's not.
Look, he throws ground. Jeff, he throws a lot of ground balls.
Oh, yeah. So immediately I'm going to only back him because he throws a lot of ground balls. Who cares? Who cares? He's a pitch well. And I don't want to hear all the stupid crap about, well, the Dodgers can't hit lefties. They're 14-9. They hit lefties just fine. They're scoring over 5 runs a game. To me, that's pretty good against lefties. I'm not concerned anymore about the Dodgers against lefties. That has seemingly went away. I don't have to worry about it. I have a good bullpen here with the Dodgers. I love the Dodgers. I've probably bought a car with the amount of money we made off the Dodgers this year. And if you're not betting them, I don't know what to tell you. If you come on this show and listen to us, you should be betting them every game. It should be a guarantee. It should be something is on your card every day. I don't know what else to say. Alex Wood, I think, is a Cy Young candidate with how he's pitched. Isn't he?
Yeah, it's funny because you don't even his name doesn't get brought up anywhere.
No.
Otherwise, us degenerate gamblers talking about how good a pitcher he is. If you ask most people, like, "Hey, Alex Wood is pitching really well," like, who the hell's that guy?
No, yeah, your casual baseball fans, and look, he's not going to win the Cy Young because Max Scherzer's been absolutely unbelievable. But the kid should get some love because he's been very good, very impressive. He's been their best pitcher.
No, I would agree here. Let's keep it moving down the list here. Tampa Bay and Baltimore, Jeff's going to be Faria and Tillman on the mound, minus 132. We have an opening line. If we take a look at BetOnline's current numbers here, Jeff, looking at a minus 121, so it's coming down a little bit. Other outlets out there showing a little bit higher in the 20s. Over-under opened up at 10.5, Jeff, currently at 11 overall in Baltimore. If we take a look at some of the pitching matchups here, Jeff, Faria's 4 starts, he's been really good to open the season, 2.10 ERA, including a solid start last time out against the Baltimore Orioles, going 6 innings, giving up 3 earned runs in that. Tillman's 10 starts. You figure I have a pretty good idea of what type of pitcher you are, Jeff. 8.39 ERA. He's as bad as it gets. If you look at his overall numbers, Jeff, it's usually when you see an 8.39 ERA, it's like, one of those freak games where he had like a third of an inning, gave up 9 earned runs. It seems like every one of his outings is just as bad as the last. Tampa Bay 41-39 overall. Baltimore 38-39. Somebody's got to get a jump start in that AL East division there. Yankees coming a little bit back to the pack. Boston looks like they're trying to pour it on a little bit. So a big series that's setting up in Baltimore. Vegas thinks there's going to be a lot of scoring there. Wind is blowing out at Camden Yards today. But I've seen it all so far with Baltimore over the past, week and a half on what they do. Did they have what, Jeff? Was it 21 or 22 straight games where they gave up 5 earned runs or more per game, or it should say just 5 runs per game? Then all of a sudden they throw shutdown Ubaldo Jimenez out there circa 2002, Pedro Martinez. What gives today? Tillman going to throw another shutout here?
Yeah, Donnie, we've talked about once in a while, talk about some of these performances that are just amazing. And you talked about it earlier with some of these Cy Young candidates that throw these amazing games. I'm not sure you can get a more disgraceful performance last night than we saw from Toronto. I mean, 8 scoreless innings against fucking Ubaldo Jimenez. You got to be kidding me. Donnie, there's a
No, it made no sense. The game, I almost laughed. I had a couple. Somebody tweeted at me last night and said, "What do you think about the the Toronto game?" I said, on paper, it looks like Toronto is going to lay waste to this Baltimore team.
Well,
Donnie, look at Toronto's lineup. How can they can't hit anybody?
My dad and I were talking about this. My dad was telling me last night that there's going to be a solar eclipse coming up here in the next couple of months, and it's going to be the first in like 100 years where it's going to get totally dark during the day, which is going to be pretty interesting. You'll see that again before Ubaldo Jimenez shows 8 scoreless innings against anyone. It's really amazing. I'm more likely to go on my jet ski today and get eaten by a shark than seeing that again. That's just how amazing that was. But again, Donnie, I'm sure tonight Chris Tillman will have a complete game shutout because that's just what they do. You look at the last couple innings, though, from Tillman. Last 21 innings, these are all in June. 40 hits, 13 walks, 7 home runs, and an ERA over 11. Chris Tillman is not getting any better, Buck Showalter. It's time to move on. Send him to the minors. He's not going to work it out. He's not just going to figure it out and say, "Oh, I've hit it already. We're going to be fine. I got my pitching back." It doesn't work like that. No special potions coming. The Baltimore Orioles are the worst team ERA in baseball, so I don't think it's going to get any better for them in general. Fria's been very good, Donnie, your boy. I think at this price, I have to look at Tampa Bay. I'm going to look at Tampa Bay here. I backed them last night, and they didn't get the job done, but I did back Tampa Bay in their last outing against Chris Tillman in the first 5. And if you remember, Evan Longoria had a big home run. I might do that again here. We'll see. But, yeah, I want to keep laughing at Chris Tillman, so I'll just keep betting against him until they figure this out.
Yeah, next up, Boston and Toronto. Another big AL East tilt here, Jeff. We're going to have Pfister and Estrada. Over-under opened up at 10.5. Currently bet all the way back to 9.5. So what are we expecting? Pfister to return back to some Cy Young form here after one stint so far, coming back after a long layoff in Major League Baseball. Estrada hasn't been much better either. So that line's kind of baffling. Maybe they know something we don't in the way Toronto all of a sudden can't hit. -143, Estrada opens up. It's backtracked a little bit to -135, -134. So we have a lot of outlets reporting back in the lower 130s as opposed to opening up in the mid 140s. If we take a look at the pitching matchup here, Fister's been solid in his first start. You have 6 innings and 3 earned runs. But come on. I mean, it's Doug Fister after a long layoff. I don't anticipate him having a dominant season moving forward. But again, Toronto hasn't been able to hit anybody over the past couple of days. Estrada's last 3 games, Jeff, 9.64 ERA, but yet the over-under goes from 10.5 to 9.5. Some interesting movement there. Baltimore on the road, Jeff, 19-21. Toronto scored 5 runs in 3 games versus Baltimore. Not exactly fantastic pitching going against them either. They get another quote-unquote tomato can on the mound tonight. Will the bats wake up here?
Yeah, Donnie, Doug Fister reminds me of that girl that you date for a while and she seems like great. She seems like a total perfect package. Then you find out her parents are like nuts or something bad happens. You think, you know what? I knew this was going to happen. I knew Doug Fister. I knew this girl was going to be bad. And that's what Doug Fister is. He's the guy that might look good for a couple weeks. Then the runs start coming in. That's who's going to be today, I have a feeling. But again, you mentioned it. An interesting point by this line. I mean, Toronto is very inconsistent from the plate. I didn't look much into this game just because I don't really have much interest in Marco Estrada right now. He's been really poor. And I don't want to bet on Doug Fister because I feel like I know what he is. So for me, this game is a total pass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much there, but that line movement is kind of interesting to see how that backtracked there. Next one up on the mound, or next game, these 2 guys on the mound here, I do want to talk about. That's going to be Cleveland and Detroit, Tomlin and Sanchez. Over-under opened up at 10, currently at 10.5 across the board. A slight favorite to the road team here, Cleveland, at -115. Has since been bet to -122 at Betonline. Taking a look at some particulars in this game, Jeff, again, one would think that some runs should be intact. Tomlin's last 3 starts, 7.63 ERA. Every time I look at Tomlin out there on the mound, Jeff, I just expect 5 innings, 6 to 7 earned runs, one of the single worst pitchers in baseball. The thing I always like about it, man, Tomlin goes out there. He doesn't walk anybody. Who gives a shit if you don't walk anybody when you give up 450-foot blast and 5 runs every single time you take the mound out there? Sanchez, 2 solid spots starts here, which again, like Doug Fister, just somebody coming out of the abyss trying to fill in the rotation. When is some regression going to set in on that and just get these tomato cans popped open here?
Yeah, Earth to Josh Tomlin fans.
Yes, go ahead. Take over. Take over to Tomlin. Go ahead.
He still sucks. I mean, we can act like he's good and all right, see you, Mom. We can all talk that he's, coming out of it, doesn't walk anyone. Yeah, but Earth to you, he gives up home runs left and right. 6 home runs over his 15 in the third innings. For all those lay people out there, that's not very good. His ERA is just south of 8. But then again, I don't want to back Anibal Sanchez either. He's another guy that he did pitch well in his first 2 outings, but you can't expect it to continue. It's just not something that I think will work. I actually like the over in this game. Cleveland should be able to hit our friend Anibal Sanchez, and I think Josh Tomlin will continue to give up home runs. I didn't look much of this game either, just because for me it's not going to be on my card, and I don't really have much interest in it. But you'd have to expect we see more runs from Josh Tomlin and Sanchez tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that Detroit lineup go out there because I do like it. V-Mart's back, but he might as well not be back. I mean, he just looks abysmal coming back. I think it was a heart issue or a fast heart rate that he had a week ago. They put him on the DL, said he's feeling a lot better. He looked absolutely awful coming back off the disabled list. So it's a key bat in that lineup to keep everything moving along. Miggy's been getting a little bit hot here lately, and the rest of that lineup. But again, these 2 pitchers here should get hit around. But again, this week, we've seen it all. I mean, we've seen pitchers just stunt great hitting lineups. And would you be surprised, Jeff, 2-1 final in this game as well? I wouldn't be surprised.
Not really. Jimmy the Bag. I bet against Fister in his first game, and he fisted me. Not today. I'm fisting him. Well, you know what, Jimmy? I wish you all the luck in the world with that. But again, your boy Estrada is not very good either. So good luck with that.
Yeah, Sister Fister out there on the mound today for Jimmy the Bag.
Just a game that I'm not interested in getting involved with.
Next up here, Jeff, we're going to take it to the Bronx, or I should say take it to the team in the Bronx, New York Yankees and the Houston Astros, 971, 972. Pineda, McCullers. Over-under opens at 8, Jeff, currently at 8, -168 at home in the favor of Houston. Looks like it's backtracked a little bit there. Betonline showing a -159. So we'll get to some particulars on the mound. I'm not a big fan, Jeff, of going against Lance McCullers. I think he's one of the better up-and-coming pitchers here. Pineda's last 3 starts, they don't give you anything to really read into, or should I say be happy to back at 7.47 as an ERA. McCullers back off the DL, dominant right away. 5 innings, 4 hits that he's given up, 1 earned run, and 8 strikeouts over those 5 innings. New York split a 4-game stretch with the Chicago White Sox. Also, keep in mind, Jeff, some of those guys out there that like to look at getting into town. I'm pretty sure that the Yankees got into Houston pretty late last night after that rain-delayed game. Also, Houston 54-26 on the season. I'm not interested in backing the Yankees here, but then again, Jeff, I'm not usually interested in backing most teams in Major League Baseball against the Houston Astros.
Yeah, I mean, why continue to fade the Houston? Why fade the Houston Astros? I mean, what are you really getting out of it? I mean, you look at home this year when you're going to Houston. I mean, opponents are hitting 219 at Minute Maid Park this year. 219. And with the way they hit, it's just like it's just a mess. I mean, who wants to get involved with fading them? And I got to tell you here, Michael Pineda has come back to earth, which I know I'm not surprised by. I've never liked Michael Pineda. I guess I rode with him for a while because he was winning games and pitching well, and he pitches on the Yankees, so I'm going to root for him. But I mean, he's come back to earth considerably, and on the road, he's been bad his whole season. I mean, his whip is over 1.6 on the road. And Donnie, the problem with Michael Pineda that you have is he's never been good at getting out of innings. He just can't do it. You look at with 2 outs. This has always been an issue for Michael Pineda. With 2 outs this year, opponents hitting 280 against Michael Pineda, and he's given up 19 runs. He can't get out of the inning. It's always been a problem for him. And you look at against this lineup, I don't think it's going to get any easier. Last 7 games, Houston hitting 325. And they win McCullers starts 12-2 when he pitches this year. I think Houston's probably a pretty good parlay piece. I just can't get involved anywhere with Michael Pineda on the road.
Yeah, I mean, over-under with an 8 with these 2 teams. Both these teams very good hitting teams at the plate. But again, pitching matchup-wise, Pineda, he has the stuff to go out there and keep it low. Also with Houston, McCullers has the chance to go out there and dominate. We'll keep going down the list here with another Texas team, Jeff, 973, 974. Texans with Bibbins Dirks on the mound versus Mike Pelfrey. Going over the lines here. Small road favorite for Texas. They opened up at -110. Have since been bet. Looks like around -119, so somewhere in the mid-teens. Over-under opened up at 10. Currently sitting at 10 across the board. Again, get the Mike Pelfrey getting lit on the mound each and every night out of your head because it hasn't taken place. And also 4 total starts for the Texas starter, Bibbins Dirks. 3.80 ERA. Pelfrey through 12 starts this year, 3.79 ERA even after a sloppy outing the last time he took the mound. 17-23, Jeff, on the road for Texas. And the White Sox checking in here at 34-44 on the season.
Yeah, Bibbins Dirk, Donnie, shut out the Yankees. We didn't shut out, but he shut down the Yankees. 7 innings, gave up just 1 run. He's been pretty good, surprisingly. Yeah. I'm surprised how well he's pitched. Neither team's really hitting right now. And 2 guys that are underrated. Pelfrey, we've talked about. He's not been that typical 4 or 5 run guy. He's been pretty effective this year. Texas can't hit on the road, Donnie. 216 this year away from home. I would kind of look under here. I think you have a good bullpen in Chicago. I think Bibbins Dirks will go decently deep into this game. You should have the ability to hit this under. 2 teams that are not exactly great offensively. I think we see like a 4-3 type of game, something like that. It should stay under. Just not really interested in either of these teams offensively right now. And 2 underrated pitchers. I wouldn't be surprised. I think a lot of people look over in this game just because they'll look at this and say, well, Bibbins, Dirks, and Pelfrey, that looks like a score fest there. I don't know that I see it. If you look at the peripherals, neither team is hitting right now. Big man, are you and Team Bankroll breaking down the Confederation's final in 3rd place? Yes, this is a great time, Donnie, if I can. I would like to do a little plug here. 2 o'clock Eastern, all of you. I'd like for you to come take a look at what we're doing over at SBR Forum on the soccer end, Donnie. We have absolutely owned the Confederations Cup. And I don't know if anyone's noticed, but Donnie, we're getting 6, 8, 10,000 views of video. We've had a lot of exposure with these videos. A lot of people watch them. I've gotten in some fights, Donnie, with some Mexican fans, but I got to tell you, I think I came out on top with a nice, easy 4-1 victory yesterday against El Tree. I'm up over 8 units. I think Alex and Martin are up around 4 or 5. We've really had a nice, successful tournament, and I urge all of you, come take a look at what we're doing at 2 o'clock. We're going to break down both the 3rd place game and the Federations Cup final. I have Germany in the future to win this tournament. It's going to be a great game. Chile, Germany, should be fun. So all of you, come take a look. Get involved with some of our soccer. We've been doing really good stuff over there.
I like it, man. Hey, if it makes dollars, if it makes sense, it makes dollars. Makes dollars, makes sense.
Oh, and Donnie,
want to say it. Yeah.
We also have a little Irish soccer today. We cashed with Cork City yesterday, which was, again, Donnie, I know you don't bet soccer. Why are you not getting involved?
I usually when it starts, Jeff, I can't make it through the first 5 minutes. I'm usually sleeping.
You don't have to watch it. Just put the game in. Our boys from Dundalk played today, and I urge you, listen to the show. That's where I'm going to release that pick today. So make sure you get out there and let me know. I'll let you know what I'm doing in the Irish League today, one of my favorites.
Absolutely. We'll keep it down. Only a couple of games left on the card today, Jeff. Interesting matchup here. Next, 975, 976, Minnesota, Kansas City. That's Santana and Vargas on the mound. 2 very good road split pitchers here. Over-under opened up at 8, Jeff. Currently bet at 8.5. 9 showing at Chris. 8.5 Betonline. 8.5 5 dimes. So pretty much that is the prevailing number. Vargas opened up a very short favorite today at -115. Has been bet up to -124, -20, -122. So still hanging in there despite only 48% of the tickets coming in on Kansas City. Santana's 7 road starts, Jeff. 1.50 ERA. But a complete stark difference to his last 3 starts. He's been roughed up a little bit to the tune of a 6.19 ERA. Vargas' 8 home starts, Jeff, 1.92 ERA. So if you just take a look at the home and road splits today, both of these guys with multiple starts under 2 ERA. Minnesota 24-12 on the road, 9-3 on a Friday. Kansas City 16-9 in the month of June. Jeff, one of your 2, I should say Santana's probably your favorite pitcher, and I look to back Vargas here most of the time, riding out the rest of the season with Kansas City. So we'll see what happens this one. A very nice line either way for which team you're looking to back here.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting total, Donnie. Opened 8. It's been bet up to 9. Why? I mean, you look at on the surface here. I mean, both these pitchers have been fantastic. Irvin Santana, 10-5-1 to the under. His whip is around 1. ERA under 3 and 16 starts. Vargas has been even better. We've talked about him, Donnie. 8 home starts and ERA under 2. 6 of his 8 home starts have gone under. Why are people betting the over here? I mean, who's betting the over, Donnie?
I guess just people. Hey, maybe they watched Kansas City yesterday with their stellar outing through 8 innings where they swung at every first pitch and had, I think Fulmer probably, if everything gone right, he probably would have thrown a complete game shutout at 80 pitches. But I guess they're saving themselves for today against Irving Santana.
Yeah, at 9, I would go under here. I mean, I'll take the bait.
Big ballpark, too. I mean, it's not exactly where you're going to like some little bandbox out there. It's a big ballpark to hit it.
I'll be honest. I'll tell you what. I might, maybe first 5 under here. I want to neutralize these pitchers because I don't want to deal with the Buddy Boschers of the world and people like that. So, by the way, great name, Buddy Boschers. Sounds like a
grand slam about to be given up.
You ever watch like one of these old movies or like even when you're younger, like a cartoon about baseball, and Buddy Boscher seems like the guy that's like that big hulking hitter that no one can get out. And of course the pitcher in the movie you're watching somehow gets him out in some strenuous situation.
Some 8-year-old pitcher gets a major league batter, strikes him out.
Right. I'll go under. It might be a trap here, but I think it's a great number. We need 10 to beat us. 5-4, we'll get our money back. I'll go under. And the Twins on the road are always interesting as an underdog, but I'll go under.
Yeah, we'll see what the Twins come to play. They do like to play on the road, so we'll see how that one holds up. Seattle and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They should add a little bit more to that name. Miranda versus Bridwell on the mound. Over-under opened up at 9, currently at 9, Jeff. Small favorite to the Angels at home, -106. Has completely flipped over. If we look at Betonline right now, Jeff, -118 in the favor of the Mariners. Particulars on this game, Miranda. 6.56 ERA on the road. Doesn't look too good. Bridwell's 3.57 ERA through 3 starts. Very manageable. Seattle struggles on the road, 14-24. Even losing. I mean, how do you even show your face in Seattle when you drop 2 straight at home to the Philadelphia Phillies? The Angels, despite losing Mike Trout, continue to play decent baseball in June at 14-13 overall. Interesting line movement here, Jeff.
Yeah, well, the line movement's due to the pitching change. It was supposed to be Gaviglio. Now it's Ariel Miranda, who you mentioned has struggled on the road. I love Miranda at home. I like Seattle at home, but this is a red flag game for me. Miranda's been poor on the road. The Seattle Mariners are 14-24 away from Safeco Field or whatever they call it now. They still call it Safeco Field, don't they?
Yeah, up north. Yep, sure, Seattle.
Bridwell surprisingly has pitched well. If you look at Bridwell's lack of success and experience at any high level of baseball, I expected him to kind of get eaten up, but he's kind of held his own. And look, Seattle's a 4 in a row. Now they're going to go on the road and play a team who has really kind of right in the ship. I mean, they're above 500. I think we've all been quite surprised. I think this lineup, even without Mike Trout, is slightly better than what I thought they'd be. There's still some guys that have hit well, Andrelton Simmons and Cole Calhoun and guys like that. Martin Maldonado, good catcher, very underrated catcher. I'd take a shot with the Angels if I had to here. I'm not interested in Miranda on the road, and I'm surely not interested in Seattle on the road, especially off of just that embarrassment against the Phillies.
Yeah, I actually would rather have had Gaviglio on the road than Miranda, so it is interesting that line movement has gone in that direction. Final game of the day for us, Jeff.
Johnny?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Great point by Isan Zolfagari. Why are the Mariners a favorite on the road? I mean,
that's what I don't understand. Like, I don't know what. Like, LA opened up as a favorite in this one and completely swung to Seattle, so it is kind of interesting.
Yeah, the one issue with the Angels, though, Marino, that I'm concerned with, and it's always been a problem for this group, they don't have any pitching. I mean, they haven't had any pitching. They have no ace. They have never had an ace for a while. I mean, Donnie, who was the last really good pitcher for the Angels?
Nick Tropiano.
Yeah, or I guess Irvin Santana.
CJ Wilson way back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Back when Weaver was somebody. Yeah. I mean, you can go right down the list.
Yeah, it's been a while. So for me, I have to disagree. But their lineup's very good. It's just a shame they're in the AL West. It's going to be tough to do anything. But yeah, I mean, if they get Trout back, maybe grab a pitcher or two. Yeah, I'm sure. But they seemingly never do that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Up last game on the docket, Jeff. Interleague action, Atlanta and Oakland. Fultonavich and Gray on the mound. Gray opens up as a strong favorite of -160. Currently in that same market across all betting circles here, 153, 155, 155, 157. So currently staying right around that 160 number. Over under opened up at 8.5. Jeff currently staying at 8.5 here. Those Atlanta bats need to break out. Tough West Coast trip to start for them. Fulton Davis's last 3 starts, 6.91 ERA. Gray's last 6 starts at home, 4.11 ERA. Atlanta 15-12 in the month of June, but having lost the last 3 out of 4 games. Oakland, always like to talk about it, Jeff, sneaky at home, 22-17. Now, Jeff, Oakland sneaky at home, usually at good prices. Oakland at home minus 160, something I'm probably not interested in.
Yeah, this is a weird line, Donnie. I mean,
yep.
But again, I mean, Michael Fultonavich, I mean, I think this is another point where the ERA is kind of a faulty measure of how good a pitcher's been, because you look at Fultonavich, I mean, 3 starts, his ERA is just below 7, but then you look at the 3 starts, he gave up 1, 2, and 8, and it was against Washington on the road. So, look, I mean, he's been very good for the most part. Sonny Gray, average, that is what he is. Look, at 160, I'm taking the Braves. I mean, if I lose, I lose, but the Oakland Athletics have no business laying 160. I'm sorry. I'm not going to overthink this. I think Fultonavich has been better than I thought. And again, I hate betting Atlanta full game, but something just tells me that they're going to be right in this game to the end. I like their offense. They've been able to hit all year. You look at this group, scoring almost 5 runs a game on the road, hitting 265. Yeah, again, this could either be baiting you into taking the Braves, and this is an Oakland line. It looks like an Oakland line, but I can't bet Oakland at 160. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they should be able. They haven't hit the last couple of days, but I like the overall look at the lineup, and they do have an American League type lineup when they can throw a DH in there. And then once they get back Freddie Freeman, who's talked about moving to third base because of how well Adams has played at first base, you want to look at an over team, Jeff, coming down the stretch. If he comes back, that's a damn good looking hitting lineup.
Yeah, it really is, and it's akin to what they were last year. I mean, they were really bad at times last year offensively. I mean, they had no power. I mean, I remember like a month into the season, they had like 20 home runs. It was really poor. I mean, they just couldn't. They had no power. Now all of a sudden, you have Matt Kemp and Matt Adams and Freddie Freeman, and obviously Freeman's not in the lineup, but so much more power in this team now. And I really like the move they made bringing in Adams. I mean, he really just kind of replaced Freeman, and that's as a team, that's what you need to do, and that's why. That's kind of the problem I've always had with the Eagles. For a long time, they never would just bring in the player that made sense. They kind of just Band-Aided it, try to make it work, and it just hadn't worked. So, yeah, I mean, you would expect that Oakland to stack the lineup. Fultonavich has not been good against left-handed hitters, but righties he's been very good against. So we'll see. This could be a trappy one, maybe saying, hey, take the Braves here, just because of the price, and Oakland will kind of be that sneaky team. But it's not a game I'm on. A couple games I will be looking at, Donnie. Houston in some way, maybe Tampa Bay in some aspect. Dodgers on the run line. Again, if I've done nothing for you on this show, I understand. But I think the one thing I have done for you, Donnie, is I've been pretty good with my predictions long-term with these guys. Arizona's been very good at home. The Dodgers, I mean, if I've given anything to you, just remember I gave you Cork City, Celtic, the Dodgers. I mean, I've given you a lot of money in your pocket. So if you hate me, that's fine. But just remember some of the things I've done for you. Adams is fat and can't hit left-handers. What else is this? His numbers won't hold up. What a surprise. You don't think his numbers
I don't think his numbers are supposed to technically hold up to what he's doing there. But as you can't pick a better fill-in for a guy to go down, a guy to step in, St. Claude's left-handed power hitter. He's done a nice job. I would kill for Matt Adams on the Yankees. Kill for it. I would welcome that. Kid makes $1.6 million a year. He has a nickname of Big City. I mean, what a great nickname. He's from Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania, Donnie, and he went to Slippery Rock. What's that?
What more could you want? I mean, I remember I mean, I like Matt Adams. I'm totally fine with him. I would love him on the Yankees. And against lefties, he's hitting .207. So obviously he's having some problems there. But right-handers he's murdering. So we'll see what happens. I like Matt Adams. I'm fine with him.
Yeah, that'll wrap up the baseball card for today and the right side of campus. Hope you enjoyed the show. Maybe you can pick your brains a little bit more there and see if you can find some winners there. But me and Jeff will be back tomorrow once again for the right side of campus on the Saturday sit-down, getting ready for that big baseball edition coming through to the weekend. July 4th, obviously, going over everything to keep it involved. Anything else, Jeff, before we get out of here today, buddy?
Not particularly. Have a great day to everyone. Enjoy your Friday. Catch me at 2 o'clock with the Bankroll team over at SBR. We'll go over some football, some World Cup, Confederations Cup. Also, thank you to our sponsor, Betonline. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you guys on the chat box. Always fun having some baseball talk with all of you. We look forward to doing it again tomorrow, Donnie, when we do this at 12:30. Have a great day.
Take care.